So our pumpkins, we're going to be using that orange, and I'm going to use the side of the brush. I'm picking up a pretty good amount of the orange. And I'm going to come in, and I'm first going to put a pumpkin over here. So I basically just take the brush, and I am going to start with my shape. I kind of come in, push the brush. Now this pumpkin, I kind of want it a little bit to the side. So I make that C shape, and then I'll come in, and then I'm going to make a loop right here. And then another loop here. And then I come over here and do another upside down, we'll call it a frown. And then I kind of just come in and do a big loop over this way. So once I have that on there, then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to just start painting this in. You want to make sure your black is dry on your wine bottle. Mine was a little wet, but we're going to go with that, and we can use that black. If you come across that, just let the black dry, and then you can come in, you can put some orange over it. That's perfectly fine. But that's how we're going to do our pumpkin. So let's come over to this one over here. We're going to put 2 pumpkins over here. So this pumpkin over here is going to go on this way, okay? So we're going to do the same exact thing. I'm using the top part of my brush. I'll come in, and I'm going to press down and make that C. And this pumpkin I want in that direction. And when I say that direction, I mean when I start putting the stem on it, it's going to go in that direction. So we have a little bit of a C here, and then I come in and I press and put another one. I'm going to press and put it down, and I'm going to loop it around. Then, being that I have this over here, I'll just loop this around here. And then it's sitting on the table, so I'm just going to put 3 little bumps there, and then we'll paint this. Now, because we're using orange and orange, and I want to stack my other one, I'm going to pick up a little bit of white on my brush, okay? And this one, the next one's going to be a little bit smaller, so I'm going to come in and just make a big C over here, make another little smiley face over here, I guess, and then I'm going to take it, and I'll make a C over here, and it's perfectly fine. We want to go over a little bit on our wine bottle, you'll see. And we'll pull that around. So it's basically parentheses or a C and a C together, and then just another little loop at the bottom. And then we're going to paint that in. And this one, I did add some white to it. I just wanted to show a little bit of the different color of the pumpkin rather than having everything all that same orange color. So we did pick up white, and we're just going to play with this a little bit just to get that shape right. There we go. You just want to make sure your lines are nice on this. You don't want to have it where it's too scrappy on the side. So just take your time with the side of the brush or even the top of the brush and go around it a little bit to make sure everything is how you want it and you have a nice crisp line. There we go. And we just paint that in. So now you can see a contrast between the 2 pumpkins. I might even go over it a little more. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so let's let that dry. Let's come back up and we will work on our straw. So for the straw, we're going to use our liner brush. Basically, I'm just picking up some of that yellow on the round part of the brush. And I'm going to come in, and I want these to all be different lengths. So I come in and I kind of just start, and they're going to be fairly straight. Kind of just take it, bring the brush in, and pull it in. Okay. A couple of them I bring in. I might go over it a few times. It's fine. But I want them to be different heights. And they're not all going to be perfectly standing up. Some will go on top of each other. That's fine. But what I want to do is kind of make a little bouquet of these pieces of straw. So take it and pull it in. You can either start on the bottom or the top. Sometimes it depends on how I'm doing it. Right now I'm going to start on the top and bring it down a little bit. And there'll be one here. Again, different heights you want on it, so it'll show some interest with your eyes. And then what I do with the yellow, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that brown. So I have yellow on the side here. I'm just putting some yellow on there, and I'm picking a little bit of that brown up. And let's see if it's going to be too dark. Might add a little more yellow to that. Yeah, just to have a little bit more of a tint. So it's kind of like that mustardy color. Come in, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add a few of them this way. And now you'll see you'll have different colors here of your straw. Again, keep with what we talked about, having it all different lengths. You don't want to have them all start at the same length or all end at the same length. You want to show a little bit difference in that. They can crisscross over each other also, but just keep the lengths different. And you want to fill your picture up the best you can. Okay, so I'm going to start over here. There we go. And then all I'm doing is I'm going to take both of those colors. I'll start whatever I have on my brush right now. I'm going to take it and I want to add those wheat dots. So I just come in and I press and pull, press into it and pull. And as you do it, I put it on different sides of the line. They're not all going on the same side. They're not all lining up, I should say. I kind of want to show a little bit different positions of where the wheat is. But you want to mix those colors up until all of your wheat is filled in. So again, I'm just taking it, touch and pull, and I'm pulling in, definitely into the line, not away from the line. You want to start and go, whoops. You want to start and go into the line. And you can add as many little seeds of wheat, I guess we'll call these, or as little. But again, I'm going into it. So continue with that. All right, so I fast forwarded, obviously, and kind of putting all the little wheat things in there. Let's pick up the yellow, still the yellow we're going to do. And I want to put a little bit of a design on our little label here. So I'm just going to come in and use the yellow and bring a stroke. We're going to make a leaf, a little fast leaf here. So I just kind of come in and I'm basically taking one line and going down and then small lines on the side of it, just to kind of resemble a little leaf. I'm going to pick up a little bit of orange too and kind of just put a little bit there also with 3 little lines. It's just a decorative piece here for our wine. You could pick up some red also. And it's just basically little lines that we're putting in. I might even then clean my liner brush out that I'm using for this and pick up our green. And I'm just going to add a little bit of greenery. I'll just add some green to this. Again, liner brush, and I'm just going to put a few little lines in it. Just touching and really pulling a little bit. Okay. So we have that. And then I'm going to pick up some white on my brush. And I want to come back to our wine glass. And I'm just going to take the shape that we kind of got married to here and just lightly touch it around to show that, yep, that's our glass of wine that we have poured. Just lightly touching a little bit and coming around. And then just to add some design to it, I'm just going to lightly take it and put a little diagonal line here and there to kind of show some glass feature. Maybe I'll put a line here, a little there, and around. Okay. You could do your touch-ups if you want, wherever you think you need anything on your glass. Maybe I'll just put a little bit of a sparkling little line over here also. So it's just very light. I'm just touching the canvas here and there. Come over to our wonderful wine bottle that we have. And I'm just going to add a few little highlights here. I just kind of just take the brush very lightly, just kind of pull some lines down. Just to kind of mimic that. Yep, it's a glass, nice wine bottle, a little bit shyness over here and there. Just very lightly touching the canvas. Touching it over here as well. Then I want to pick up some black on my brush. And let's just go over here. Make sure your brush is dry. I'm just going to come over here and I just want to clean this area up. So kind of just shows that this is where the dip is in our picture. And I'm just kind of outlining that area. And being that we were painting right in it, this is going to cover all those lines, the grass, of the hay rather, I'm sorry, straw, that are coming down. And I'm just going to slowly put that line in, just like that. Okay. Of course, if you're looking, and I just saw this too, I'm going to pick a little more black up. You can go over it as well if you didn't go all the way down. And you can just add a little bit of a black line there to cover it up. Or you can always pick up the yellow and bring it down if you wanted to. Like on this one here, that one's a little too high. So just come in and add some white. And then of course, adding the yellow to that, we'll just straighten that out. Okay. All right, so let's let this dry for a minute and then let's go to our greenery for our pumpkins. We're almost done, guys. I'm sure yours looks beautiful. I hope you're enjoying this. So I'm going to just take some green. And we want to add, first of all, before we jump to the green, I want to make sure that I have enough paint on my pumpkins. And I don't want to see anything coming through. So I'm just going to quickly take a little bit of that orange and just kind of do a quick little brush to make sure it's covered 100% coverage. And then over here also, my black was not dry that much. So again, I'm just taking that orange and just quickly going over it one more time to make sure I'm okay with everything. Okay. Now I'm going to take my liner brush and I want to put in the stems. So what I do is take that liner brush, load it up with some nice green paint, and I'm going to come in and I want to make the stem into the pumpkin, not sitting on top. So what I do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take the brush, push it, and I'm going to make it a nice green stem. And for some reason, I think because I had my fan on before, my green got a little dried up. So let's just get that going in there. Okay, I'm going to take my green and I'm going to push it in there and bring it around kind of like a hook. And then what I do like to do then is, like I was talking about, you want to make sure that it's into the pumpkin. I don't like when the stems sit right on top of the pumpkin. So what I like to do then is I kind of just work this way and make your lines. So it's pressure, pressure, pressure when you pull, pressure, 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 and then pull back with your pressure. And you get those nice little sharper lines in there. And then I'm going to put one over here. Again, pressure, pressure, and then pull up. You just want to make those nice stems, those lines on there. We'll put one over here, maybe over here. It kind of comes out a little bit and winds up. have fun with it. They're the stems of the pumpkin. So you don't have to be so exact with it. You don't really want to kind of like have a loose hand for it. Maybe one comes this way too. Just kind of swirl it around. And then in between, you want to add some lines to it. And then we'll come over here, this one here, I'm just going to take the brush, push it, push it, push it, and kind of like play with it a little bit and let it off the canvas. Maybe this one here comes around a little bit. And then we're going to push, 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 and then pull away. You want to make sure you really have enough paint on the tip of your brush, because that'll make sure that the lines are in there. And again, some lines can be a little longer, some can be shorter. It's basically the veins of your pumpkin that we're showing. Maybe this one kind of just goes this way. And then over here, again, we'll take that green and I'm going to put my green to the side, the stem to the side. So I'm pushing it in and just pulling it up a little bit. And maybe this one's a jaggedy old stem. And then again, just pushing that in there, making them different sizes. You want some short and you want some long. And then I'm going to just add some whimsy to this and just put some little vines that are hanging out. Maybe there's a vine here hanging out. Now, what I do like to do, because we were talking about the vines and the lines and so forth, is I know we made this all one color. What I like to do now is just pick a little bit of brown on my brush up, and right from a few of these vines, I just like to kind of like bring it down and follow the shape of my pumpkin. And then that's with the liner brush. Then I like to pick up my other brush and just kind of from the top bring it down, and it just gives it a little bit. You'll see the difference between this one and that one. It just kind of adds a little bit to it. You want to show those veins. You don't want to show too many veins, but you definitely want to show the veins of the pumpkin. So that's just done by just put a little bit of that brown on there, and then I came in and I just put some orange over it using the top part of the brush. And if you think you put too much on, you just take some orange and you can kind of just work it all in there. So again, we'll do this one also, because for the light one, we're going to use white. So we'll come in and this is going on the side. We'll put one here, we'll put one there, we'll put one there, one over here. Pick up our orange, come back in, and we kind of just blend it in a little bit. Okay, so for this one here, we're going to pick up same concept, but we're not going to use the brown and the orange. We're going to use the white and the orange. So I just come in and I kind of just add my lines quickly in white, and then I'll pick up a little bit of my orange. And then I just kind of follow the stroke I made. It's basically just the stroke of a parentheses if you think about it. I add that a little bit. And just, you could play with it too. Take your time with it. We want to get that going. Okay, so we're just about done. All we have to do is do our writing. So take a look at your picture. Is there anything that you want to change, that you want to touch up or anything? Now's the time to do that. I'm going to move to the part where we're going to add some words to here. You can put whatever you want on your painting. I'm going to use the black as our color. Again, I'm going to use the liner brush for that. And just make sure when we do this, if you feel more comfortable using a marker, you can always use a marker also. But I'm going to paint that in. I'm going to put the word gather on here. You can use print, you can use script, whatever you would like. That's totally up to you. But I am just going to go in and go for it. The trick is to make sure that you have enough paint on your brush. And then we'll put the R on. And then over here, if you didn't want to put family and friends, if you wanted to put your initial or your friend's initial, your family's initial, you could do that as well. I am going to put family and friends on here. So we're just going to quickly write the word family. Again, the trick is to make sure you have enough paint on your brush. And you just use a slow hand really for it. And then we're going to put the word friends on it. And we'll put the D. And the S, dot the I. And then if you have enough room, you can leave it blank if you want. That's totally up to you. I have a little extra room on here, so I kind of just always put a little bit of design. I'm going to just put a little, we'll just come in and we'll just go like this. I don't know, we'll say it's the wine's mark here, I guess. And we'll put that on there. If you wanted to add color to it, you can. I'm just going to put some swirls. Nothing too crazy. Okay, so we have basically our entire picture done. I hope you really enjoyed this and hope to be painting with you soon. And that's a wrap, guys. Thanks so much for painting with me.